lay pellets is a lot more expensive than just corn or pelleted all stock, and it seemed like such a waste to give it to the roosters because, believe it or not, males can't lay eggs no matter what. So I developed a way to make sure it's mainly the hens that get the lay pellets, and the roosters can have the cheaper food. But, disclaimer here, this does not work well with all roosters. It won't work at all with the young roosters. Our roosters with small or flat combs, like what's called pea comb or the cushion. It does work with most of my roosters, and if it's important to you that only the hens get the good stuff, you might have to rehome the roosters with the flat small combs. Rooster combs are usually bigger than those on hens, so I have this feeder here with wire mesh that's big enough the hens can get their combs in, but most roosters can't. This kind of fencing is called yard and garden fence. It's twisted wire. I think it's sometimes called kennel fence. The bad news is I can't find this type of fencing much anymore. The mesh size is 2 inches by 2 inches. If you can't find this kind of wire, maybe you can find something similar, or adapt poultry netting by cutting bigger holes in it. The turkey is a little bit of a problem. I've also found that 2 by 4 inch horse fence going sideways like this works a little, but not as good as the 2 inch by 2 inch twisted wire. The board on the bottom of the hen feeder measures 9.5 inches wide and is about 5 feet long. The boards put along the edge to help keep the feed from coming out are about 2 inches high, but I just use scrap pieces of pallet, so that varies in thickness. The height of this one is about 1 foot plus the top of the board, so about 1 foot plus 2 inches. It's pretty easy to make if you can just find or make the right fencing. I also don't want the ducks and geese to get all the feed. That's why I have it in this PVC pen. The ducks and geese are non-flying and can't get over. This pen I made out of putting together PVC pipes to make a frame, and then I put poultry net over it. I also make pens like these as exercise pens for chicks. Now, I'll give better instructions for how I made mine. But no, you can make yours differently. The main thing is to have wire that hens can easily get their heads in and out, and the roosters with the bigger combs can't. Next, I'll give a material list, and I'll also list the materials I used in the description. You need a board. Mine is 9.5 inches by 5 feet long. We need 8 2-inch by 1 foot long boards for side support. 8 9.5 inch long by 2 inch wide top and bottom supports. 6 boards about 17 inches long by 2 inches wide to make the short edges. 2 5 feet long by 2 inches wide long pieces for the top. 2 1 foot by 13.5 inch boards for end pieces, or you can use fencing. The fencing, 5 feet by about 3 feet. Twisted wire with 2 inch by 2 inch mesh is best, but you can use or adapt other kind of fencings. Optional is about a 5 foot long board to be screwed down over the wire at the bottom to hold it, or you can just use U-staples. So you'd also need small U-staples to hold the wire down, and screws probably about 3 inch or 2.5 inch for the main frame, and assorted shorter screws for putting on the end boards and if you want to put down a board over the wire. Okay, I started with the board. It's about 9.5 inches by 5 feet long. You can use a different size if you want, but if it's too wide, they won't be able to get their heads all the way to the middle to get the feed. Then I screwed the side pieces on that go up, just screwed it to the side of the board there, and it goes up about a foot. Right here's the 1 foot mark. I got one on this end, and then one on the other. They're about, the center ones, about 20 inches, have this one going up. They're 20 inches, have the other one. And it's the same thing on the other side. There are 4 on the other side too. You can do it either way. Put up these first and then put this between them. Or put this on first, and then that makes it easier to screw the sides on. It's down, and there it's screwed onto the board and onto that piece going across. Okay, now every piece has a cross piece. Cross piece is about 9.5 inches, the same width as the board. Got one on the bottom, one on the top, one on the bottom, one on the top. It's what side pieces are attached to. Makes 4 squares. Well, the 2 pieces across the top need 5 foot long, although right there I joined 2 shorter pieces. Excuse me, boy. That goes across the top. Yeah, he's one of the young roosters. Hopefully his comb will get too big to go in there. Okay, I have these side pieces. They're all turned out about 17 inches long. Depending on the thickness of this upboard, they go between these boards that go up. We have all these pieces put between. There'll be 6 of them, all about 17 inches. That makes the little sides so the feed doesn't just all come out too easily, but it's not very tall. The chickens can stick their heads over. And put these boards on each end, just some short screws. Last is to wrap this wire around it and hammer it down. Use small U-staples, although these old pallets are a little rough. What I did was I just mainly took nails and bent them over. It's easier to do that without splitting the wood. It's got this that I just screwed down over the wire to hold it down here. And that's it.